Folks, welcome to the Crime Dawg Podcast. Sitting alongside me tonight, as usual, one of my co-hosts. He was a legendary street cop, undercover cop, SWAT cop, homicide detective, David SIMPSON. Welcome to the pod.
Happy to be here. Jay, thanks. Wow.
You weren't here last
I wasn't here for a week, and now
I want to clap for you. I missed you, David. Welcome back.
I don't know. I heard a lot of bad things were said about me when I was not present.
You didn't hear it. It was actually recorded, I think.
That sweet voice and locks of love that you see right before you is our secondary co-host, Jason Blanchard. Jason is also a legendary street cop. He worked all over the Rock. He worked Genesee, Clinton, and Lake section. He is the self-proclaimed alpha male of this broadcast and self-proclaimed 1994 Hall of Famer. And he is currently the lead hostage negotiator on the RPD team. Jason, welcome to the pod.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was a heck of an introduction.
True. Listen, your stats and David's stats, I hate to say it, do not compare to the guest that we have this evening, boys.
Oh, stop.
We have legendary, international, sensation, rock star, drummer, and I'm going to tell you right now, I love his term, ex-addict. Joe Lana, welcome to the pod.
Love it. What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, man. This is super cool. Dig the setup. Setup is
a lounge.
Yeah, it's cozy. It's cozy, man. This couch is like nice. You guys are like, man, we're starting a podcast. We're going to do it right.
We blew the budget.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Fuck, it's over.
Yeah, the furniture is going to get repoed on Monday. Yeah. Everything's going to get repoed.
Johnny said, we said money was no object. That's what we said.
It's all out of here.
Well, Joe, welcome to the pod. You know, you have a very unique life that you've had. And I know that you're young. You're like 32, right?
Yeah, 33.
You just turned 33?
Just turned 33 in May, yeah.
Well, happy birthday. So,
thanks, guys, yeah.
As you know, we're the Crime Dawg Podcast, and we're going to jump right into it because Jay Blanchard, our co-host, has connections to people in your PR department, and they had broached the topic with Jay. Jay talked to me about it, and 30 seconds in, I'm like, I'm all in. And I'm going to tell you, you have a unique story to share. And that story, you being an ex-addict, and we're going to get into that term also, don't let me forget. But you being an ex-addict, we had a podcast that we did relative to fentanyl. And I know through our conversations that we had prior to you coming on, you were hooked on heroin for a while. Why don't you tell our audience your story that you told me off air relative to the dental work and then the subsequent medication that you got?
Yeah, it basically it started with, I was a kid and I got my wisdom teeth out, right? So that's kind of where I was introduced with like the pills, which were the opiate, you know, like Vicodins, whatever, hydrocodones. And at the time I was kind of already like a bad kid. I mean, I wasn't like a bad kid, but I was drinking. I was like 15, you know? So I would drink and hang out with the kids that were just kind of I was smoking cigarettes and, you know, partying. So when I got my wisdom teeth pulled out, the dentist was like, you know, don't do anything. Don't drink out of a straw. Don't smoke. I don't know if you smoke or whatever. Like he had no idea what I was doing, but basically I did everything you weren't supposed to do. I ended up getting dry sockets. So, and I got all 4 of them at the same time. So they all got infected and they just loaded me up on pills. On pain pills, because I had to keep going back. I had problems with them and I didn't mind because I liked taking them, you know? So I was just taking these pills. And then by the time it was over, I liked them, you know? So I would get them on the street. I'd get them at school. I started hanging out with the pill kids. And then it just quickly and rapidly over the years from me being 15 to like 22-ish, 21, 22. It just quickly, rapidly spiraled out of control, man. I went from the Vicodins to the Oxycontins. And then I would like snort them. And then, those got real expensive. And then eventually I was introduced to heroin and I would snort that. And then eventually, like, you know, I shot it up because someone showed me and it was like a better way. So by the time I was 18, I was shooting up heroin and I was like, you know, I'd quit school. And then I spent a few years like in and out of the system. I would get caught, I'd go to jail and then I would get out and then I'd get caught again. And then they were eventually like, you should do this thing called drug court. Cause I told them they knew I had a problem. So I eventually went to drug court and that's how I broke out of it. But yeah, it's just it was just spiraled, and it turned in from just a kid messing around, getting these pain pills, and then next thing you know, I was in jail, like going through heroin withdrawal. So,
well, it's amazing though, because that was the sweet spot of the bat for them over prescribing at the time.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
The medical field was getting all this money from these pharmaceutical companies who are horrible.
Biggest drug dealers in the world.
Yeah, biggest drug dealers in the world. You're right, David. And here they are giving you stuff that you definitely should have been monitored. And then of course you say it's in that opiate category. You know, the Vicodin, the oxys, and then you morphed into going to the street because the street was cheaper. I know we talked on offline, and you were telling me that, you know, at one point, one pill was almost costing you $80 a pill.
yeah. Those Oxycontin pills, when I started, they were like $40 for like an 80 milligram pill. And then they just rapidly went up to like $80. And then that's when we were all, me and my like pill buddies, switched to heroin. Cause then you would buy a $10 bag, and that $10 bag was just as strong as the $80 pill.
Yeah. And how long did that high last for you?
Well, with the pills, it lasted longer.
Mhm.
Okay. So you would, especially at the point to where when you're getting withdrawal, once you hit that point where your body's sick and you need them, the pills last you like a whole day. Whereas like the heroin, if I did it in the morning, by like 1, 2 o'clock, I would start feeling those symptoms, those early withdrawal symptoms. So heroin was like quick, you know,
But it was cheaper.
it was a lot cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm not a pharmacist, but I would guess, right, that the pills are probably the purest form, and the heroin, God only knows what that stuff's being cut with.
Yeah. I know. Right.
So
Jesus. It's
that-
crazy.
Right.
When you think of that they put in there, like the fentanyl too.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that stuff is no joke.
So
And
it was all opiates? It was no like cocaine, no other drugs. It was just opiates.
no, I did other drugs too. I did cocaine too. I would mix them. So like speedball it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys heard that term. Cocaine and heroin. I would mix it together and shoot that up. Like I don't even know what the hell I was thinking. When I say this now, it's insane that I would do that. But yeah, I would do that. And then I would do anything else I'd get my hands on. I would smoke crack. I smoked meth.
So how did you support the habit?
I had a lot of scams. I actually had some crazy scams. Like I did do this, because actually there's this like viral thing going on right now all over TikTok called the Chase Money Bank scam or glitch. The Chase Money glitch.
Yeah.
You seen this?
Yeah, it's where they juke the ATM.
Yeah, you juke the ATM. I did that back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, I would write myself. I would open up a bank account, get my checks. You know, sometimes you have to order them, or they give you like 5 free checks or whatever. And I would just like write myself a check for $200, deposit it into the ATM, and then immediately withdraw it. And it would clear. Like 200 would be cleared immediately. So if you did like $500, it would be like 200, and then the other 3 would process. So I would stay away from that number just so it would like fly under the radar. I would just do 100, 100, 200, and then it would get to negative 1,500, and then it would stop. I don't know why that was the number with I did this to like 4 different bank accounts.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And I would get like 15. I would do it every day, like $100. Then that $100 would last me the day getting dope, And the next day I'd do another 100. And I did that. And then, I had other scams, dude. I would take a receipt. Like I would take it would say they paid in cash at the bottom. Cause it'll say debit, credit,
Right.
cash. And whatever's on there, say if it says like diapers, I would go into the store, into Walmart, and get the diapers and make sure it's the same. The barcode would match,
Yeah.
And then I would bring it up to customer service, not even steal it from the store, just bring it up and return it. And they would scan it and give me cash. Did that to all the Wegmans, all the Walmarts. They had my picture in Wegmans. They had my picture. Like one day I went in there and I'd wear the same clothes every day, And the girl was like, "Oh, and then she like pointed, yeah." I was like, "I'm gonna get out of here." And I never got caught doing that though. It's crazy. I don't know how. One time the cops were waiting for me outside of Walmart too. And
Well, Joe, we got a lot to get into with you because you go all over the world. You're a famous social media person. I mean, you have hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. You're known as the Cowboy Drummer on social media. You are with the Dropout Kings. You travel all over the world with the band.
yeah.
You're an international musician. We have so much to cover with you. And we're also going to talk about like I said, the term ex-addict.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk about the cop in the next segment that was really fascinating to us, that helped you get clean.
Yeah. He was a turning point for sure. Absolutely.
So, folks, stick with us. We got Joe Lana. Stay with us on the other side. Folks, thanks for sticking with us on the other side. We got Joe Lana, international, world famous drummer and ex-heroin addict. Joe, thanks for sticking with us, brother.
Yeah, man.
So you gave us a general overview of the story. We talked in between the break. I want to kind of back up and carve out one of the things. So you had explained to me, because your start to recovery was a very cool beginning of a story. You talked about how in a section we call Clinton section in Rochester, New York, because that's where our home base is, where our podcast is out of Rochester, where we all grew up and we all worked. It was an area called Clinton section. You were on St. Paul Street near Strong Street. You said you were basically almost passed out in a car, or you're high in a car. A little girl comes up, knocks on your window, kind of gives you a warning that the cops are coming.
Yeah.
And before you could even react, the cops are already on your car, right?
That's right. That's exactly
And
right.
then why don't you tell our audience what happened with the story with the cop?
Yeah, and then that cop, I was passed out. I was fully just passed out, right? So I woke up to the girl. Then next thing you know, the cops are coming up to my door, and he's like, "What's going on, man?" So I just, without hesitation, just showed him everything. Opened up my glove compartment. I had drugs. I was like, "Look, I'm an addict. I used. I passed out. I'm in drug court. I'm in trouble. Like, I already know I'm going to jail. Like, let's just get on with it." And then he was like, "Hold on, slow down." Cause I was like crying. I was a mess, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of drugs. Like, I had a felony worth of drugs on me. And he's like, "Hold on." So, back up a bit. And he just wanted me to tell him my story. And he was just like, thought I was a good kid. And he didn't take me to jail. He wanted to help me, man. It was honestly, it was a turning point for me, because I thought about him for a long time, and he just, he helped me, man, because he would have made it worse for me if he did what he should have done technically, and arrested me for the drugs. I would have went back to drug court on Thursday. They would have been like, "Oh, you got more charges." I was going to go to jail for 2 years. Like, it was going to be bad. But instead he was like, "No, you're not going to jail. You're going to the hospital. We're going to get your family here, and we're going to make sure that you are, like, let's get you off of it. Like, you're a good kid. You shouldn't be doing this." He cared, man. It was
the beginning.
It was wild. It was a good dude right there. I wish I could find the guy.
Well, I was just going to say, and you don't remember the officer's name.
Oh man. No, I don't. I want to say it was like 2013, 2012, maybe. He was like a younger dude. I want to say he was like, 28, 27 at that time.
This was in the afternoon, or when
it was like early. It was like maybe like 10 or.
Oh, so during the day.
Yeah. 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. ish.
Well, hopefully we got a lot of support. That's our home jersey, the RPD, especially we all worked at side of the city in that area. So hopefully one of our brothers is listening.
That would be
maybe
cool.
We could connect you guys,
That would be cool.
So he says, "Hold on, pump the brakes, Joe Lana. Here's what we're going to do. Going to jail ain't going to solve anything. We're going to get you some help. We're going to contact your family. We're going to take you to the hospital, and we're going to get you on a road to recovery."
Yeah, he did, man. He called an ambulance for me. And yeah, I remember just crying because I was so happy. I was happy that I wasn't going to go to jail and then get charged again, but I was just happy that he like cared. I felt like this connection that this guy genuinely cared, and he didn't want to see me like messed up. So yeah, that definitely sparked, because before that I was in drug court and I would mess up a lot, like I would go in there, I would be doing well. And then, a month in, I would fail a drug test and I would go, they would punish me and I'd slip up. And then if you kept doing that, eventually they kick you out of the program. They're like, "Okay, you got to go do your sentence and then go to a halfway house." They change it up, and I kept breaking the rules so many times. And then that day when I did that, I was like, I'm screwed. Like, there's no way they're keeping me in this program. And then this cop, I'm just like, "Dude, yeah, I'm done. Like, just take me in." But no, he was like, "No, we're going to help you." He's like, "I don't want to even do that to you." He's like, "I don't want them to even know. They're not going to know. They took the drugs and got rid, whatever they did." And yeah, called an ambulance, called my family. I think he even made sure I got to the hospital, like walked me in and then left.
So the illness when you're in drug court, fair to say you don't want to be using, right? Like you are using when you leave drug court, but you're mentally you want to get clean at that point.
Yeah.
Like the goal is you're going there with the best intentions.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the illness is just so powerful that you're failing, if you will, or tripping up.
Yeah, for sure.
So just for people that are listening, that's how strong the draw is. Like you were just playing at the system. You actually were in drug court wanting to get better.
Yeah, well, so it was both. Like there was times where I didn't, because I was still fighting it in the early segments of it.
Okay.
But no, there was, for the most of that time there, I wanted to get out of, genuinely wanted to be there and wanted to be sober,
You were trying.
Yeah. And then they got me on like medication that helped me get off of heroin. And then even though that's just opiate, that's a whole nother story, dude. So that's a whole nother thing. It helps. So, but they don't administer it the right way, I don't think, in the industry or in the addiction community, whatever you want to call it. But regardless of my case, it helped, it worked. And it was, and that cop was a big turning point.
Well, hopefully he's listening, and hopefully we'll be able to reunite you guys. Jay, you got a question?
So I'm just trying to kind of follow, the timeline wise. So it must have been obviously a tremendous stress on your family for watching you deal with the habit.
Yeah.
So they get the phone call and you go to the hospital, and that's basically a turning point for you. Yeah. And then, kind of what happens? You just, you get into a program or what's the kind of, pushing you in the right direction after that?
After that, I stayed in the hospital for like that day, and then they let me go like later on. And then I went back to drug court as scheduled normally that Thursday and just continued on the program. And
so it was almost like a kind of like a this is a corny phrase, but like a scared straight sort of moment. Like you knew what you were looking at.
Yeah.
And if you weren't coming up clean in these tests, you were going to end up going away, and that wasn't going to benefit anybody. So it was like your wake up moment where you just said, screw it.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, that was when I was like, screw it. I'm going. And you have to say that too when you're in that life. You got to just bite the bullet and just like, quit being a bitch and just do it. Just quit, Yeah. I know it sucks. You're going to be sick. And when you quit your mind is fighting this battle. I know if I just do a little bit, I'll feel better. You got to just, just go full force. And then those people helped me. Judge Elliott too. He was another big help, man. I want to shout out that guy too. I don't know if he's ever going to listen, but he was the judge in drug court, and he was a very stern guy and he was a scary guy, like it's the guy that's my fate is in his hands today.
He's in control of your life.
Yeah. But he helped me, man, because I got to a point at one point in drug court where I was done, and he was like, okay, you're done with the program. We're going to get you in a halfway house. And I went into jail, and like 9 days later, they came and got me, and they were like, hey, Judge Elliott wants to see you. And I just was like, oh shit, okay. And I went back, and he was like, hey, I've been thinking, like, I changed my mind with you. I want to help you. Like,
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. The cards just fell in my, like, I wasn't meant to be in that life. And they all knew it.
Before you had that, I'll call it a divine intervention with our cop, with our brother, who we're going to definitely work on trying to identify for you.
We'll find him.
How many unsuccessful rehabs did you go to? Do you remember the number?
Definitely a handful. Like 5, 4 or 5-ish.
So when we talked, this is the part I want to get at when you say, because we talked off camera, full disclosure, our audience, I know your passion because I talked to you a couple times before you sat down with us, and I didn't feel comfortable using the term recovering addict. So I wanted to ask you, and you use the term ex-addict. And you and I had discussions relative to what your opinions are, and you are totally entitled to because you've been through the whole thing. So your opinions on the addiction community relative to the rehab portion of it, share that with our audience.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought that up because I feel like it's an important thing. And when I started rehab and when I got in the whole program, that's the main thing that they tell you when you go there is this is a lifelong battle. Once an addict, always an addict. You're going to struggle with this forever. You got to work at it forever. That's what they tell. That's what it is when you go there. So I immediately was like, I don't like that. I don't agree with that because I just didn't believe it.
It's almost like you're labeled.
Yeah.
Like you've
Yeah.
got a scarlet letter on you.
Yeah, literally. And they're just dumping us all in the one pool and just treating us all like, yep, you're all screwed forever. So this is how you're going to proceed. And they have all these ways how to live. And if you follow it, you'll be successful. But all it does in my mind is just keeps me in it, you know, like going to meetings and going my clean date. And I gotta, another one day at a time. Like, dude, fuck all that shit. I want to live normal and I want to be a normal guy.
Right.
I don't want to be this like struggling, weak person. Like, and all these addicts go in there and they believe it, you know, and then I just feel like your mind is very powerful, and whatever you feed it, you're gonna believe it, and that's what it is, man. So if they can just, I don't say recovering.
Yeah.
I'm not recovering.
Right.
That was an old me. It's in the past. I used to be a heroin addict. I'm not in recovery. I don't have a clean date. I don't go to meetings. That would keep me in that world, and I don't want to be in that world. I want to be like you guys are normal guys, right?
Well, that's all. That's
Well, fuck.
that's a relative term. I don't know.
Anyways.
Normal might be nice.
That's good. You know what I mean? Though,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
want to go to the gym and go home and
Right.
That's why I like the term that you use. You said ex-addict.
ex addict. Yeah.
The
Yep.
past.
No,
Yeah.
No longer existing.
Is we had Dr. Butler on, and she talked about she works with cops with like mental health and problems on the job, and she was talking about if guys talk a lot about a particular problem for more time than she feels they should, she's okay. We've dealt with that. We're done.
Yeah.
Like, because you can almost talk about the problem to the point where you just stay depressed and you stay in it and you don't cleanse yourself of it. And I thought that was kind of fascinating when she said that. And it kind of almost plays into a little bit what your mind was, is like, you know, once I get through this, like I want to be done with it. I don't want to keep living that life every day of the recovering addict type or the forever addict type thing.
Dude, she's right. She's 100% right. You got to just completely move away from it. And all those programs and all those addiction, God bless them, right? Because they're trying to help and they don't know. They're just like, they were taught at school, this is how you deal with addicts. And then they go and get the job and they're trying to help addicts, but it's like, it's not helping. Like,
or it might help someone there that needs that path.
That's
maybe.
fair. Absolutely.
You know, everyone has their own.
Not a cookie cutter thing.
It's right.
Everybody.
That's how I should have said it. Yeah, it's not for like me. I wasn't for that, and it didn't work with me. And so you can't group everyone in the same. It's a very specialized thing.
Sure.
And there's places that are geared for like they know that, you know, like there is places that are like they know that, but it's still overall the industry isn't like the way that I think it should be.
Right. You feel like it's more like a business.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Come on. They're fucking raking in so much money.
Well, that's what I'm
dude.
saying. It's like the doctor. They might keep coming back.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I
yeah.
mean,
That's why they're putting you on those Suboxone pills, and those were just a nightmare. That's just staying on opiates. It's just
wasn't it great that the pharmaceutical industry gets these people hooked on opiates, and then we also have a drug that's going to make it better too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we get you in the front door, and we'll get you on the back door.
We got a facility to send you to.
Oh yeah, then we got that.
We're gonna,
we got it all. Yeah. Crazy.
Well, Joe, thanks for sticking with us, because we want to morph into, because you are a legendary drummer. You come from a family of music. Your pops was a legendary drummer, musician. We want to talk now. We're going to rewind a little bit in our next segment, talk about your talent, talk about your drumming talent, and talk about where that took you during your addiction and post-addiction. Folks, we got a good one for you. We told you this one was going to be good. Stick with us on the other side. We got Joe Lana. Folks, thanks for sticking with us on the other side. Joe Lana, thanks for sticking with us, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for
you got a heck of a story. You know, I want to kind of pick up. You and Jay had a cool conversation on the break. So you talked about weaning yourself off, and they give you stuff like Suboxone and no more pharmaceuticals to wean yourself off. And you were talking about getting on them, and you were saying that the pharmaceutical prescription stuff to get you off the street stuff like heroin was way worse than the heroin was for you, right?
Yeah. It was like more difficult to get off of those. It wasn't like as intense of a withdrawal symptom, because the heroin withdrawal was like really intense, and it just happened all at once. It would come on quick, and then it would, you know, after a couple weeks, like I was fine. But the Suboxone was more of like a really slow. It took forever to just get on with it.
Yeah,
it took me a couple 2 or 3 months,
right,
until I was normal again. So. Yeah, it's different. Same like symptoms, same like withdrawal, but it's more difficult to get off of those pharmaceuticals.
And then you were saying you were telling us that that you just wanted to quote unquote be normal again. You would walk around Wegmans or be in the community and be like, I just want to be like that guy. You just assumed that person had the life where he didn't have the addiction. You were talking about just, I want to go to bed. I don't want to use any of these drugs. I want to go to sleep.
I was jealous at the world, man. Yeah. I'd go outside, just look at people, and I just assumed everyone had a picture perfect life, you know. Whereas I know everyone's got some, you know, life is crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming they don't have my problem, and I feel like that was fair to say if I saw like a 45-year-old dude who just looked like well put together, you know, I'd be like, damn, I'm just like, you probably sleep good and you can eat.
Get up and eat your Wheaties.
Yeah, all that. Yeah. Whereas I can't, I'm shivering and I got cold sweats and I'm like going through withdrawal unless I take this little pill, even though the doctor said I should.
Right.
It still wasn't good. Like,
right.
You know?
So the time frame, just to condense it for a second, you started basically when you were 16 to almost when you were 22. You get clean. You're on the path to being an ex-addict, to use your term. And let's rewind. You come from a music background. You know, your pops was a legendary drummer.
Yeah.
You're a drummer. You've been playing drums since, how old were you?
Yeah, since I was like, you know, 2, 3, my whole life.
Right. And the cool part that you had shared with us was prior to the addiction, boom, you were on your drum kit, you were playing. This happens. And then the whole time during your addiction, which was basically almost 7 years, 6-7 years,
yeah,
you didn't pick up the sticks one time.
Complete halt. Sold my drums for drugs. Didn't care about drums, didn't care about music, didn't play. Didn't care about anything except drugs, dude. Didn't have a girlfriend, didn't care to make money, like legitimately, didn't care, you know, nothing. Yeah. Just got rid of my drums. And it killed my dad, dude. It crushed him because he saw me going through that. Yeah. Saw me sell my drums, and so it sucked.
A huge part of not only your life, his life, but you guys as a family.
Yeah, absolutely. Before my addiction, he was like, he saw me being, you know, he's like, you're going to be an amazing drummer. You're going to be in a cool band. And then that all happened. So it got, you know.
So let's talk about the positives.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how great you come out. You're like, okay, I'm done. And then you picked up your sticks again and started back at it, right?
Yeah. I picked up the sticks again. And it was cool that my dad got to see me get clean, you know, because he saw me in a really bad spot and it crushed him. And then he saw me break out of that and graduate the drug courts and start playing drums again. And I didn't go full force playing drums right after. I did, but I didn't go full force. I wanted to start a business and make money. So after I got clean, I started a contracting company, and it was cool. You know, I was like a successful little company. I had employees. I was doing gutters and stuff. So my dad saw all that, and it was great. You know, it wasn't until after and I was playing drums for sure, but I was just more focused on, I had business and drums. So it was like a hobby. Uh-huh. Once my dad died in 2019, that's when I was like going full force at drums, you know, for him. Uh-huh. And I just want to live and do what he wanted me to do, because he'd always said my whole life, you know, like you could do this, you could do what I didn't do. You know, he wanted to get to that top level, you know, be like a John Bonham, and he always said I could. And then he kind of gave up and just played locally. So yeah, it was cool that I was able to. Well, once he died, I chased it, man.
How was it when you picked him up? Like, did it come back? Or was it like real uncomfortable for a while, or did you fall? Did it come right back, like riding a bike?
Dude, I immediately sat down and immediately was ripping. Like,
really?
Yeah, I didn't skip a beat.
You're like, I got it.
Oh, dude, drumming is just, it's like literally like walking.
And was that therapeutic? Right? Did you feel normal again when you sat down and just started, you know, banging on the drums again? Did that feel like you're almost back to your normal, what you said to be normal?
Yeah, it did, actually. Now that I think, and I don't think about that often. Like, I don't have that one day when I finally picked up the sticks. It just kind of just came back in. So there wasn't
part
like
of your normal.
Yeah. But when I think back now, yeah, I remember it bringing me so like just crazy amount of joy, just being like,
What's your first love?
Yeah.
Like I grew up playing hockey when I was 3 years old. So anytime I go and play hockey, it's like you're meeting the girl that you first fell in love. Like it's literally like that feeling, cold air, or like the feeling of the drumsticks in your hand. It's like you're falling in love all over again every time you pick it up.
Yep, that's basically what it was, man. It was it's great.
So share with us, Joe, how you went from picking up your talent to then morphing into explain the gradual incline where now you're traveling internationally and playing your music and going. How did it work out for you?
Yeah, that's a good one. So yeah, right when my dad died in 2019, I took like the next like 9 or 10 months like off of work, and just I didn't gig or nothing. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna, one way or another, I'm gonna get my name out there. So I started an Instagram account and social media account, and I just posted drum videos every single day. And I just went crazy, dude. That whole year, the whole 2020, 2021, I wasn't even paying my mortgage on my house. I got it relieved because of COVID. Dude, I actually bought that house, lived there for 18 months and didn't pay one mortgage in it the entire time, because I moved in January. And so February, they were like relieved it. And then I got it relieved. And then I sold it after and got like my down payment back. I lived there for free. Anyways, I went full force, man, after my dad died on the internet, So
it's cool because, I mean, if you check out your social, I mean, you're known as the Cowboy Drummer. You got your shirt.
Yeah.
So you're all over social media. You're on the Twits. You're on the Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff.
All of it, yeah.
And you play. I mean, you have hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yeah, I was able to build a pretty big
fan base.
Yeah, it's cool. Just messing around.
And then so you did that 1920. What made you say, hey, you know what? Now I'm gonna jump in to what you jumped into. Like, did you go right to the Dropout Kings, or how did that work?
So my intention when I started making those videos was to land a gig.
Mm-hmm.
That was I was like, I'm doing this until someone sees me and I get a phone call. Dropout Kings was that phone call in 2021. So I did it for like a solid year of 2020. 2021 April, I joined Dropout King. They hit me up. I had done one of their songs on my page and I tagged them because I liked the song. I played it. They all commented like, yo, this is crazy. Like their drummer it was like, you're better than me. And then like,
guess what?
Yeah. A few months later, the drummer left, and he even said, he was like, you should get that one guy with the cowboy hat. Ask him. He's like, I can't do it no more.
What was the song, Joe?
It was called Going Rogue by Dropout Kings. They're a cool band. That's why I love the band so much. It reminded me of like a Linkin Park kind of rap and rock.
Yeah.
When I listened to it, that's what it reminded me of.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We got some heavier stuff too. So it's like, he'll scream. It's cool. I liked it. I would have joined any band though. I would have joined a country band. I would have joined the fuck.
Was that your genre? Like, what was your?
Yeah. Not even. I don't even.
Like you mentioned John Bonham. Was it like rock and roll? Like rock and roll? Like.
Yeah, your dad grew up like what was your dad's genre? It was like Uncle Plum, right?
Yeah. Uncle Plum was his big band, but him specifically was like everything, and that's how he taught me. He was like, don't just be a rock drummer, don't just be a metal drummer, be everything. Like fill in with a jazz trio, play in a country band, play in a pop band,
complete player.
Yeah, just be versatile, So that's like how I grew up playing. So I definitely wasn't just like I was whoever needed me.
Right.
Do you have a favorite style?
Yeah, like funk.
Yeah.
Like some funk, like me and the boys, they're like the band in the city. They're cool. They'll play like a wedding and you can like dance. They're like funky, like Bruno Mars kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Cool, like funky grooves. That's like what I like to play if I were to sit down and play. But I love double bass and metal.
So basically the Dropout Kings reach out to you around 2021.
Yeah.
And you hook up with them, and then you wind up going not only all over the country, but all over the world.
Yeah. All over the world. Yeah. We've been touring all over. We're about to go to Australia here soon. But it was cool because they just hit me up and they flew me out to Phoenix, and then it just all began. And then from there, my social media blew up even more. Cause when I joined that band, I had like maybe like 10,000 followers. And then somewhere along the line, I got even more. So it's like I was in this cool band and my own thing is blowing up. So it was cool. Yeah. And I mean, it's still, that's what I'm doing now still currently. So
I mean, I imagine with your upbringing and your comfort level with the sticks in your hand and the drum set in front of you, the nerves probably weren't there. You're like, well, this is where I'm meant to be, right? I mean,
yeah.
You kind of felt like this is where I should be, because looking at your outlook relative to social media, like, listen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show everybody how talented I am. And not only how talented I am, why you want me with you.
Yeah.
So going to Phoenix with the Dropout Kings was like, hey, here I am, boys. Let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. They knew I was I was ready to go. And I told them even when they hit me up, I was like, they were like, are you in a band? Like, we would love to talk to you about joining the band. And I was straight up like, dude, I would be a perfect fit for your band. Like straight up.
Fired.
Yeah. Dude, no, I came in and they were like, whoa, they announced me as their drummer before I even went there and met them.
Wow.
Like I just told them, like, they loved my confidence and how I just was like, I'll crush it. Because their old drummer, he would always, like, they'd play a show and he would be like, guys, I can't do this. He was very like timid and afraid, stage fright. So when they heard me say, this is, dude, I'm your guy. Like, I'll come there right now. I'll go on tour right now. We will crush this. They were like, okay, you're in, They saw my video. They knew I could play. So they just announced it. They were like, this is our new drummer, Joe. So then
Did you go back and forth there?
Yeah, I'm there all the time. I'm always I'm all over the place.
Not to diminish, right, playing in a band, but like where you came from and the crap you went through, the moment's probably never too big, right? Because you're like, what are you going to make me feel that I haven't, this is all fun. This isn't bad, right? I mean, these are all great things.
Yeah, true.
Right?
That's funny.
Being nervous playing in front of a stand is way better than trying to go, kick a habit and go through all that.
Yeah, or go stand in front of the judge and am I going to jail?
Yeah, that's a lot tougher crowd. That's a tough crowd.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's a funny point. Yeah, to like it primed me to take it easy on these big moments.
Enjoy the moment, right?
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, it calluses you too. I mean, if you have a bad night or there's not the turnout you wanted or anything goes wrong, it's like you're callous to stuff, where someone that's fragile like crumbles under that.
There you go, man.
Folks, we told you we had a good one. Stick with us on the other side. We got Joe Lana with us. Thanks for sticking with us. Folks, thanks for sticking with us. Joe Lana, thanks for sticking with us, brother. Man, I tell you what, we have some interesting convo on and off the air. You're a very interesting person. I'm so glad that you came to the studio tonight. Just to kind of put a button and a bow on this, being an ex-addict, traveling all over the world, your social media is off the charts. We were talking about that off camera. You're all over. You're on Facebook. You're on TikTok. You're on YouTube. You're on Instagram.
Yep, all of them.
You're on everything.
Yeah, just Google me. You'll see me on all of them pop up.
And then you're what? Is everything at the Cowboy Drummer or?
Yeah. Yep. Just
that's all your
Cowboy Drummer. Yeah.
That's all your, what do they call them? Handles or Twitter names?
Yeah. Hashtag or my tag. My
tag names.
Don't at me, bro.
At the Cowboy Drummer.
Yeah. I real quick, actually, since you said Cowboy Drummer, I want to say why I call it Cowboy Drummer.
Yeah.
It's because my grandpa wore that cowboy hat all the time. Just, I don't know why. He just liked them. So he always would wear a cowboy hat. He was from West Virginia. So
it's because he was cool.
Was there cowboy? Yeah, right. He was cool. He was the cowboy. And then my dad was where I got drums from.
Right.
So, they both died. So that's why I was like, let me honor both of them in a way.
Wild.
So I was like cowboy drummer, drums, cowboy drummer. Boom. Now I'm kind of have both of them with me. So that's why just wanted to put that out there.
That's cool.
Doesn't
yeah,
really
people
matter.
were wondering why you have that tag name. That's why it is.
Yeah.
We can't thank you enough for sharing your story with us. We really hope, and you and I talked about this several times via text and on the phone and in person. We really hope that cop that worked Clinton section on that fantastic day reaches out to us.
Man, that would be cool.
If they remember, we're definitely going to hook up with them. We'll definitely hook you up with him if that happens. So, Joe, thanks for sticking with us, man. We appreciate everything you've done. We can't wait to watch you on whatever you do in the future. Boys, you got anything else for Joe?
I just was going to ask what his coolest rock and roll moment was. Like,
There you go.
what,
Coolest rock and roll moment.
like show or who you
Big
met
thing.
or like what was the
Coolest moment, dude.
wow, I'm doing this. Like,
Yeah. That's a great question, man. And I have an answer. I was in Czechia, right? Czech Republic.
whoa.
Czechia is what they say now. And I did a drum solo at a festival that we headlined. So it was crazy. It was like the dopest moment because I was up on that stage. There's like smoke everywhere. There's just a huge field of people. And it's like late at night. We're the last act. It's the last thing. And here I am just doing this crazy solo. And I was just ripping it. And it was dope. So yeah, that's got to be it.
In the
Right.
moment, did you think that or
Yeah,
after?
in
In
the
the moment,
I
you knew
remember
you were
being
right there.
Just being like, holy, you know,
This is it.
yeah, what am I doing right now? Like,
What's one of the largest crowds you played in front of?
one of the largest, probably Hellfest in France. It was like, oh man, 40,000, 50, I don't even know, 30, 40,000.
That's crazy.
Probably after a certain point, it's like, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just a huge.
whether you're
yeah.
playing in front of, like, if you're playing in front of 10,000, it might as well be 50,000. I don't,
Yeah, no, true. That's a good, because like, once it's a huge crowd, it's like,
you can't even see.
yeah, you can add another 50,000. It's not going to change. I mean, I'm up here doing it.
Right.
So it's like,
It's a lot of people.
it's a lot of people. Yeah. But yeah, no, those festivals, all those big summer festivals have like 50, 60,000. And I've played a bunch of those. So those are the moments where you're like, today's going to be sick, you know?
That's wild.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
I got one for you, and
Yeah.
I don't want to belabor it, but you've done so much in such a short period of time, and your stories are pretty cool. There's probably a few, but is there a thing that is like a bucket list for you that is like, you know, one of the top of your list that you'd really like to accomplish or play at or you know, play with?
That's a great question too. Yeah, man, definitely. I think what I really want to, like a big like dream is to play in like a stadium one day, like maybe like a Super Bowl halftime show kind of thing,
Gotcha, yeah.
or just a big event that's happening. Yeah, I don't know, a game or just just play in a big stadium. That's my football stadium type gig.
Like they have Lollapalooza at like the Soldier Field and stuff like that.
Dude, like that would be crazy. That's a bucket list. I have to play one of those gigs. So
you will.
One day I'll get there, man. Thanks,
You will.
guys.
That's right. So Lollapalooza, if you're listening to our podcast,
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
better put our boy Joe Lana on there, all right? You're going to have an issue. You're going to have an issue with us. Joe, listen, man, thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate it. You have a fascinating story to tell. We had a chance to share it with our audience. Folks, you can check us out on thecrimedawgpodcast.com, where we have a library of our videos. You can go to our YouTube channel at Crime Dawg Podcast. Folks, click like, subscribe, leave us some feedback. Check out all of our videos. Thanks for sticking with us with this one. And remember, folks, thanks for listening to our podcast. Listen to the future podcast, but like my brother-in-law Frankie Grassi says, if you can't make it, who cares?
Go, 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 go.